everybody. Welcome back to Goodnight Kisses. I'm your host, Kristen. I am so glad you joined me today. Today is Monday, and we are now in December. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it's already December. I can, but I can't. Of course I can. It was November yesterday. No, it wasn't yesterday. Have I slept since then? Okay, it's the 5th. All right, whatever. You know what I mean. Anyway, I'm so glad you're here today. Thank you for joining me. Today is Monday Q&A day, and we're just doing a Q&A. Any questions that you have for me that you haven't asked before, you're welcome to do that. I've got the 10-stitch blanket here that I had started on needles, and I had to rip out and start back because I had done something to it, and on Friday I was doing some live stuff. I actually have permission now from Frankie Brown to make her tutorials, or to do her pattern on tutorials, so I'm excited about that. I could do needle or whatever, so I'm very excited. We had 2 open houses at our house this weekend, and I gotta say, and I volunteered at my church all weekend, so I really didn't get much knitting done. I started to get some stuff done, and I posted on Facebook in my private group, and I started having heart palpitations, and I was having some issues and kind of watching it. And so I ended up in the hospital last night. I was in the ER last night, and so trying to figure out what was going on. So anyway, I did not get much work done. So I got to go see a cardiologist. So after I get off the phone here, I got to go give it a call. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Good morning. Good morning. So Bridget, hi, I see you hopped on first. Welcome. Hi, Gloria and Chris and Ada and Elizabeth. And oh, Elizabeth, she put on a video on my channel, and I'm like, oh my gosh, or not my channel, my Facebook page. And it just blessed my socks off. It was so fun. And she was talking about that she did some yarn therapy because she had a tough week last week, and she followed my example and went to Michael's and got a deal on some Karen cakes. I was like, that's awesome. So anyway, I didn't realize you could upload a video to my my page, which is really cool. So if you guys want to do that and say hi, that would be incredible. So that was really fun to virtually meet you, and I love it. I love it. So anyway, I showed it to my sister. She loved it too. She's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So hi, Elizabeth. I hope your husband is doing better today, or, you know, excuse me. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm not drinking any coffee. I'm trying to avoid caffeine right now. You would love to see any 10-stitch tutorial patterns, Chris? Yay, I would too. So definitely gonna work on that. Susan, hey. Yeah, Ada, oh my, oh no, are you okay? Yeah, oh hey, Louisa, I see you jumped on. So yeah, so I was having like what I thought was like my heart just kind of fluttering and being weird, and I forgot I have an Apple Watch on. It has a heart rate thing, so I started tracking my heart rate, and I noticed it had shot up to like 97, and I was knitting. And I mean, yarn gets me excited, but knitting, I mean, kind of just evens me out. And I don't have high blood pressure or high cholesterol, or I don't have a thyroid issue. And it all got, like, everybody got to see that on my metabolic whatever panel. They did like a full workup on me last night at the hospital, so I have all that. So even though I'm a big girl, I'm very healthy inside. I'm just larger. So I don't know what's going on. They said that anybody, what does it call it? They were concerned about it being PSVT and a whole host of names. As soon as I told my sister, she was like, oh, it's blah, 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 because she used to do sonograms on the heart. She worked for a cardiologist's office, and she was an echocardiographer, echo tech, that's what they call her. So like doing stress tests and stuff. So she's like, oh yeah. So she went to the hospital with me, and was my person, and until my husband could get my kids settled. They came in for a little bit, but they were like kind of worried and stuff. And anyway, so I was there trying to figure out what was going on, and when I had gone to my after clinic doctor, I ended up waiting until Sunday, and but I was having this, like, basically what happened is when I looked at my watch, it was dipping down, and then it was like trying to ramp back up, and I was feeling this sort of, and so I felt like I was doing like exercise, and I was like getting like really tired. So I actually stopped. If you saw me on Friday, I was about right here. So I'm pretty much about where I was, because I started having this issue, and I'm like, I can't think about anything else right now. So anyway, so yeah, last night I ended up in the ER because the clinic said, just go on to the ER after they did a chest x-ray and EKG. So my Apple Watch, though, alerted me that my heart rate went up to like 168, which is not good. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything, you know. I was just sitting there. So anyway, I got to figure out, make sure it's not this other thing. But they told me like what to do if I feel that happen, that I can kind of like hold my breath and bear down for a minute. And it, like, basically what it is, it's an electrical a signal. And what, like, holding the oxygen for a second, like, cuts that off, the ability for that, and then it like evens it out. And then they can also do something else if it's like a recurring thing. But anyway, so we'll figure this thing out. Thank y'all for the compliments and the well thoughts and my wishes on my good hair, my fun hair. Thank you. I threw on some lipstick for you, but I'm kind of like blotchy from being all goofy from not feeling well. Yeah, Alyssa, so how's the project I had to frog? So yeah, so I had noticed that on the 10 stitch, I was just stitching along, showing y'all how to do it, but apparently at the corner, I had knit 2 of my stitches together, and I was down to 9 stitches, and I was like, why is this a 9 stitch instead of a 10 stitch, which will work, by the way. You just continue knitting it, but it was going to be like that got thinner, and I guess that's how you could do it if you wanted to like slowly thin it out. You could like at the corner knit it together and then get smaller and then get smaller, which is actually a good, interesting thought. But that's not what I was supposed to be doing. So anyway, I figured it out. I figured I could sit here and just knit along and and show you again what I was working on, and then kind of get my gumption up for actually doing a tutorial, because I got to get this further along to like do a full-on tutorial. So anyway, I think it's good. Hey Jewelfly, you have a mitral valve prolapse, and you do that at times. It can be scary. Yeah, it feels really weird. Like it's concerning, because you're like, you know, what is this feeling? Anyway, it was like this kind of boxed in area. I was just kind of feeling like it all around my chest, and really fatigued. And I was like, you know, like trying to take a breath, like what's going on? So I was kind of feeling shortness of breath. I was kind of feeling like I had to vomit. I kind of like threw up in my mouth a little bit, you know, sorry, gross stuff, but just, anyway, weird stuff. And I don't normally feel like that. So, so that was scary. So, you have them due to anxiety. Yeah, that's what Carol was telling me. She was like, you could be having an anxiety attack. And, you know, and they're like, what kind of stress do you have going on? Well, I'm like, well, I'm selling my house. And they're like, ding, ding, ding. So, I don't think it was stress. But I mean, cause, well, I don't feel stressful about it, but I mean, maybe it's just masked in that way. So I'm not going to say that's not what it is, cause I ain't no doctor. So anyway, you go through the same, Christine? Yeah, it's just weird. It's just weird. So, yeah, Alyssa, oh, as far as frogging, yeah, when you have to frog, it can be discouraging. Yeah, when you have to go back. It was actually frustrating, because I was having to do it on camera, and I'm like, how far back does this go? And am I going to figure this out? I was thinking, I'm not going to figure it out while I'm on the phone, while I was talking to you guys. And so I was kind of thinking, I don't know where I did this. I'm like, am I not seeing? I was thinking, I'm not seeing the mistake because I'm distracted by like broadcasting. And so that's why I ended up the broadcast, because I thought, I'm not going to see this thing, because I'm like, that was actually stressing. That was more stressful than, so Friday's broadcast was actually stressful to me versus Saturday, Sunday, when I really wasn't feeling well. So Anyway, yes, maybe the house selling stress, but better safe than sorry. Yeah, I get a cardiologist, and of course I need to get someone who's like in my network because, yeah, I had to go to the hospital last night, so I had to pay for that. And I went to the other doctor, and they did chest X-ray, and they did all that, and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, Jewel Fly, you said yoga, maybe that'll help. Yeah, maybe. I've done the yoga on the Wii Fit. Has anyone ever done that? It's really cool. The problem is you have to weigh 315. So I can't do that. Yeah, I weigh more than that. So otherwise I don't really know how to do it. I was at one point and I was excited, and then I used the thing like it was going out of style. Or no, you have to be less than 330. Anyway, I got down to 315. But kind of funny thing, I got tennis elbow from from playing Wii Fit, doing all the sports stuff and everything, because you're having to hold the thing. And so anyway, but I was rocking the yoga because it's really cool because you can lean in, and like it gets you in the right position, like you're putting the right weight on your foot or whatever, or right part of your body. So it's kind of cool, like if you have to stay at home. I'm actually considering getting this thing called a what's it called? It's called a Cubii, Cubii, and it's like a pedaling exercise thing that goes underneath your desk. It's positioned so your knees don't hit the desk while you're pedaling. I'm not really sure if that's going to work out for me just because I'm so tall, but I thought, man, that would be really cool to like sit and knit, like take it upstairs and like watch a show while I'm actually pedaling. Instead of putting my feet up, I could like use the Cubii, and it apparently links to your phone or your watch or whatever. So anyway, I was thinking maybe I can get some extra exercise that way. Take a deep breath and count to 10, then count back to 1. That's a good idea. Thanks, Martha. You can still do it without the stand? No? I'm not sure. Oh, no, the Wii Fit has a board, and you have to like stand on this thing, and it like measures your weight and it calculates your balance and stuff. So just to turn it on, you have to be able to do that and then get into the system, or it doesn't even like allow you into like the regular like games and stuff, because there's actually some ones in there like you can jog, and you don't do it on there. You jogging, and it like measures you jogging and stuff, and how fast you're going, and like all that kind of stuff. Sorry, I'm totally talking about health and fitness, and that's, well, it is a Q&A day, so I can answer the question. I'm giving myself permission. So if I lose anybody and you're not interested, then okay, fine. I'll see you on another day. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of what's going on with me. I do need to get in shape more. My husband was saying that we need to do something else. He has type 2 diabetes, recently diagnosed in the last couple of years. And so what's helped him is doing like, not necessarily just juicing, but he does like these smoothie drinks, like kale drinks and stuff, from this particular place. And they just went out of business, but he found out that, the edible, what's it called? Edible Arrangements. They started a new thing. There's a new business here. I've heard of Edible Arrangements where you can buy like a bouquet. Looks like flowers, but it's not. It's all fruit. And but this particular location opened up also a smoothie bar, which is good because then they can actually like take from their product line and stuff. And so he's actually doing that now instead of this Kiva places where he used to. And so he can do this like this kale spinach smoothie thing. But that actually really helped him. And so I'm thinking maybe I should start doing that. So, oh, Ada, thank you. You're so sweet. Thanks, Crystal. My coif. I love it short. And they did this texturing, and I don't like texture, like when people use those texture scissors, they do it on the outside and they're just like, you know, but it doesn't have a smoothing effect. Like, see how smooth this is? So what she did is she like picks it up, and then she just textured it by hand, and then made sure not to cut into here. And so, but normally my hair is like, it's really thick. It doesn't actually ever really look thick. But until you like start messing with my hair, and then you're like, oh my gosh. Sure has a lot. Like I used to break ponytail holders like all the time, even if I was like wearing like two picky tails. So anyway, thank you guys. Yeah, I would appreciate your prayers, and also in selling my house. Really need to sell it very soon because we need to close on our contract like the first week of January on the other house that is waiting for us. So and I don't want to have to lose our is it escrow? What's it called? Anyway, earnest money. So anyway, I'm gonna just kind of knit up some things unless anybody has some questions. Oh, I'm gonna put the let me see. I'm gonna put this link in here. How do I put a link in? Where is my comment box here? Comment, knit along live tutorial. I'm writing this in the comment box. Bridget had asked me about this, and this is the live tutorial for learning how to knit when I did a Facebook Live. So if you want to learn along, it's like a 90-minute tutorial, and I'm like talking to everybody, and it's best viewed. I put it up on YouTube for people, but it's best viewed on Facebook, and you can look in the comment description and you can see what part to kind of scrub through, and it tells you the different techniques that are used and taught at certain times. So when you click in that video, look in the description, and it shows you, okay, from this minute to this minute is this section. But if you want to like sit and work on a project and just listen, then you'll pick up on a whole bunch of tips. Because I don't have it structured. I basically just had like some bullet points that I wanted to go over in a certain order. And so throughout, I just kind of just kept talking and answering questions and stuff. So, there's that. So, Susan, a couple of your friends do the smoothie diets. Yeah, lost quite a bit of weight. Yeah, she does. Oh my gosh, my husband, he's my BFF, but I called him she. Sorry, honey. He likes to do like a smoothie in the morning and then a smoothie at night, and then he has like a, which sounds a whole lot like a Slim Fast thing, and a sensible lunch. No, he'll have like a nice salad or something. Actually, he really loves those salads from Wendy's. I mean, not Wendy's. Why did I say Wendy's? I can't talk. From Chick-fil-A, that have all the, like the feta and the walnut and all that other stuff in there too. And he loves that. I think he has a little bit of an apple in it too. So it's really, really good. But it's really like those smoothies have really evened him out. He doesn't take any medicine for it. He's never had to take insulin. His doctor was astounded. His doctor's like, oh my gosh, you're doing amazing. So anyway, he's like, just keep it up. So anyway, hey Ellie, you started doing a baby hat. You're doing 3 strands as one. Oh yeah, you're welcome. Jill Flight, no, I don't have the Nook. Well, I do. Someone gave it to me, but I haven't I never had it in like original packaging, and I've never like picked it up to actually do it. So no, I have not used it yet. So yeah, that's something I probably should learn to teach, but no, I haven't yet. Crystal, you making a few hats and the looms. And the hats look good, except you mean they curl up? Go to goodknitKisses.com and go to my search bar magnification and type in curling, or you can just Google prevent knits from curling, and you'll see my article, and it talks about like having a brim or a ridge or an edge either on a blanket or on the sides, and then so you're going to want to learn how to purl. You're going to want either a garter stitch or ribbing to start. You can also use a moss stitch. It's a combination of knits and purls, and a purl goes the opposite way as a knit, and so when on the right side you want the fabric to alternate in knits and purls so that it tames that stockinette. A stockinette stitch, if you know about nylons or stockings or pantyhose, if you cut it, it rolls down. It's because it's an actual stitch that's all causing all the stitches to roll in the same direction, and so that's why they do that. So they're all forced the same way. So that's where that came from. Okay, yeah. Oh, sorry, you can't type. That's okay. I'm reminded all the time when I'm not spelling something right. I'm like, And then I go back and I'm like, I edit a lot, and mainly I'm editing because I'm noticing my typos. Anyway, oh, thank you, Joanne. Joanne has the link for the prevent knits from curling. So that should have, what that's got in there, the article has things like how to stop it like from the beginning, so build that into your design, or how to fix it afterward. You can actually hang, well, if you know how to crochet, you can add a crochet border on, if you, or you can take that and hang it back on the loom and go kind of backwards or back on your needles and add in a trim. You can do that. So there's a couple of different ways to fix it after the fact, but the best way is to build it into your design from the beginning so that you don't have to do that later, unless that's the style that you want. Because sometimes people have like main stocking knits that are needed, and then they add like a special lace edging where they want to turn it the sideways and stuff, because that's another way to do it. And when you see what I'm about to do, this is like if you were adding an edging on the side, so you could totally use this technique as well. In fact, yeah, you can use the side of something and then add on this this garter stitch border, either on needles or on the loom, and it does the same thing. So if you want to know for loom, you could go look at my 5-stitch tutorial. Instead of the 10-stitch, I have a 5-stitch, which is the same techniques. It's done on the zippy loom. You can use it on any loom, and then but the needle one's the same. So you're picking up a side stitch and adding it to something that's existing. So in this case, let's say this was your existing work. I'm working along and I'm gonna add this in, and I'm grabbing a stitch from the edge every time I come to it. And then when I go back, I'm not doing anything. So it's like every other row. So that's good to know. Let's see. So let me just scroll past and see. Okay, Crystal, you can do a purl row before your pattern. Yeah, you can do a purl row. Now, just one row of purl isn't gonna solve it. Okay, if you just do one purl and then continue stockinette, it'll still have like this fold. It'll look like it's folding. You might need to do, just depending upon the gate, like the size of your stitches and everything, you might need to do 3/4 of an inch to an inch in your pattern, in your knit and purl combination before you get into the main pattern. It just depends. And also blocking can help. Sometimes even those things kind of look like they curl, but it's because of your gauge. Maybe your gauge is your tension is too tight. And so when your tension is too tight, you should just try washing it. You follow the washing instructions that's on your ball band. If it's washable, it's acrylic, you could probably throw it in the wash and put it in on a low tumble. And it also will soften your stuff. But if you've got some natural fiber in there, you might want to definitely block that out. You can block out your stitches. You can also just wash it. So it just depends on your material. So 2 knit purl combo rows usually work for you. Okay. All right. I'm gonna flip and see. Oh, and I'm gonna put the before I move. Let me get Frankie's pattern again, and I'll put it in the notes here for the deal. Okay. Pattern for needle 10 stitch. Okay, and so that's the pattern. And again, Frankie does not charge for her pattern, and she based it originally off of Elizabeth Zimmerman inspired blanket. Elizabeth Zimmerman, look her up. She's a pretty famous knitter. And you can learn a lot. But anyway, she basically worked in a certain way, so where you're not having to, so you can just join as you go and no sewing is needed. Anyway, they're free to download, but she would like you to consider making a donation to the Children's Liver Disease Fund. And it's a charity which researches and supports the families of children with liver disease. And then she's got a link on that page for how to do that. So, oh, Crystal, your tension's really tight. Okay, well then definitely, yeah, check out blocking. It's not as scary as it sounds, really. There might actually be a free Craftsy tutorial on blocking. I have a blocking video, and where I talk about blocking, not with steam or anything like that, but actually using like washing it in a little basin just real quick with like a rinse-free type of agent. I use something called Soak. There's a bunch of them out there. So anyway, okay, I'll flip the camera. Here I go. Okay. If I am not close enough, is this too far for you guys? Let me see. I've got it too far for me to actually see what you're saying. So hold on, let's see if I can. I'm adjusting my camera, my tripod here. I can still read. There we go. Marley has a blocking video on YouTube too. Okay, great. Yeah, I think it's good to see what different designers do for their blocking, because we all have different tips, and they're all good, and we don't always remember to say everything. So that is for sure. So I'm on a row where I'm working back. I had picked up a stitch on the right side. I'm on the wrong side right now. And so when I start knitting, I just slip this first stitch and put my yarn to the back. And then I just continue working it. Am I too far away? Oh, I don't know why I'm doing that. Okay, I'm gonna flip it. Okay, now I'm on the right side. Okay, so on this row, what you're doing is picking up a stitch here and connecting it. So I'm gonna slip the first stitch purlwise and then knit across until one is left. Okay, and then I just slip that stitch, and then I'm gonna go to, I've got an alert on my phone, I can't see the rest of my screen. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in between the stitches that I didn't do last time. I'm gonna go right here. Oh my gosh, it's warning me my sister's birthday is tomorrow. Stop, and my mom's is next week. Okay, got it, Siri. Okay, so what I do is I go in the stitch that I wanna pick up, and then I wrap around and then pick up from here. So I've pulled in a stitch from the back here to pick up the stitch. I'm not actually picking it up from the side here. So I'm actually pulling through and picking up a stitch and working it like that. And then I flip it to the back, and this is where we were when I started. I want to get my yarn to the back, but I'm going to pick up this stitch purlwise here, put my yarn to the back, and then start working my way across. And this is if I'm throwing, and if I want to work it continental, I can do this. And work it that way. And then it stitches easier or faster continental if you're right-handed by doing that. And mine is New Year's Eve. Yeah, thanks, Chris. Yeah, it's easy to remember, isn't it? Yeah, we're gonna take her out to lunch next week. Okay, so I'm gonna slip it, and then I go back into it. Again, this is throwing, or I can hold it here and do continental. I'm still actually learning continental as far as like purling goes, and trying to do everything, do all the extra techniques and things. So habit is I know how to do it English style and throwing. So I'm slipping this one at the end. I'm going to not go back and forth. I'm just going to continue throwing because that's how y'all see me do it. So I just go into this stitch and pick it up and then pass this slip stitch over. Okay, and it's kind of loose and it's making this chain across the top here. And then I flip it and go over. And here's another thing. I've also done this. Like, so when I've done that over here, for a second, what I've done is picked it up and then put this back on and got my yarn to the front and then flipped over. So I've done that. It didn't look as smooth here, but like when I'm usually going along, man, I've got a lot of things popping up on me. Oh my gosh, I can't see when y'all talk when that thing does that. Oh yeah, Chris, yeah, once you learn Continental, everything's so easy. Yeah, it's a force of habit, and because I go back and forth to the loom and crochet and knitting, and I get like, I need to like force myself and commit myself to just only knit during the week and like get all the Continental stuff, all the kinks worked out. But what happens is when I work on another technique like cables or something, I go back to my habit. Why do I keep wanting to do that purl in the last one? I don't know why I'm doing that. Anyway, this looks hard, Wanda. The Continental works hard. Looks hard. Or the knitting. Slip, pick up, and then work that stitch over, binding that off. And then you can also flip this yarn over here before you start, and then when you slip it, it's automatically positioned in the back here, and then work it. Well, I was trying to do it Continental there, but either way, getting the yarn to the back. In this, to me in particular, in this pattern, putting the yarn in position from back to front and everything is actually the thing that's most critical and what happens the most in this pattern. Because when we do the wrap and turns on the corners, that's when I work it back and forth, and then you're at the end of your stitches and you're like, ah, so it kind of goes back and forth here. I missed what you said. What did you say, Chris? Continental is more intuitive if you crochet. Yeah, I think it is. I'm just working out all the kinks. But I haven't introduced everybody that I'm actually trying to do Continental, so I'm trying not to confuse everybody. And I'm sure I'll get to the point. Sorry, hold on. Okay. I was feeling kind of fluttery again. I'm sure I'll get to the point where I'm teaching both and in 2 separate videos, like this is how you do this way, and then do it in Continental too, so I'm sure I'll get there. Did I pick up that stitch? Yeah, I did. Okay. Let me scroll my comments here. Continental is a technique of holding your yarn back behind your non-dominant hand. If I'm right-handed, I'm going to hold it in my left hand. I'm going to hold my working yarn on my left side. So if I was to work this, Elizabeth, then I would slip this stitch here with my right and hold my yarn in the back here and up like this, like I was say I was crocheting, and then I'll put my stitch in this. I'll put my needle in just like I normally would, and then I'll wrap it around and pull it through and slide it off. Rather than taking my right hand and throwing it around. And so you can see how once you get this down, how this could be faster. See, I'm not moving my hands as much. I'm not letting go of the needles. And then I'll throw with my right, and you'll see here in a second. So I gotta slip this last one and then pick this up. See, I'm picking that stitch up and then throwing this. I shouldn't have let go of that yarn, but anyway. And then I can flip this to the front. I mean, flip this yarn to the front, because when I turn it, it'll be in the back and it's in position again. So if I'm knitting, I believe it's English style, which is throwing with the right, I would slip the stitch, and then I've got my yarn in my right hand, and then I let go of the needle and then wrap around and pull it through. There's another way to do it, which is flicking, and you pivot it. You pivot the needle, like I'm trying to learn how to do that. I would love actually to just flick, but you can tilt it and not fully let go. And anyway, but basically it's right-handed, and then, you know, working your way all the way around and then doing it. Oops, I don't know why I was doing that. So you've been doing it and you didn't know what it was called, so you've been doing it that same way anyway? Okay. Well, there you go. See? You're good. I didn't know how to purl for the longest time, and every time someone taught me how to purl, I don't know what it was, but well, first of all, they were trying to teach me way too fast. And the way it was explained, it didn't make sense in my brain. Like I was flipping something around. And now, because I know how to do it, it's like one of those things that I intuitively do it, but I figured out the best way to teach it on how to purl. Anyway, so like, let's say I'm going to purl here, you know, and I was going to put the yarn here like this. I actually figured out how to go backwards. I went to the front here, and I would start working my way this way and purling, but I wasn't. I was actually knitting backwards so that it would purl on the front. And so I didn't know what to do. So that's how I resolved it. It's like, I just want to get the purl stitch and I don't care how. And so I just kept going. So anyway, yeah. So, oh, you missed the convoy. You'll be agreed. Call the doctor. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm going to actually stop. Yeah, you're right. I do need to go ahead and stop anyway, because it's late enough. But anyway, thanks for joining me today. Yeah, if you missed it, I have to call a cardiologist and see what's going on. They couldn't figure anything up. All my lab workup was good, and my EKGs were good, because by the time I got there, I stopped having so many episodes. But it was happening for like 24 hours, and by the time I got there, you know, I should have just gone in the beginning. And I didn't. So anyway, but now that it's definitely happening again, I definitely need to do that. So yeah, my little ones need me. Yeah. They said the thing that they think it is, it's not terribly serious unless it's like left unattended, because it basically can wear out your heart. It makes your heart run at a really high level for a period of time. So I'm not feeling like that's happening right now. If it was, I would be getting myself checked out. But I have someone here at the house with me. If I had to go somewhere, they would just take me. So anyway, all right. Mwah. Love you all. Hearts and love. I will see you tomorrow unless I have made an appointment for that moment in time. Hopefully they can see me today. So anyway, talk to you later. Bye everyone. Happy knitting and crochet. Bye.